From Washington, this is VOA News. I'm David Byrd reporting authorities in Tunisia have arrested the nephew of suspected Berlin Christmas market attacker Anis Amri, along with two other Islamist militant suspects said to be connected to him. The Tunisian Interior Ministry says the three suspects are said to be members of a terrorist cell connected to Anis Amri, who carried out the terrorist attack in Berlin. Meanwhile, Germany continued to search for possible accomplices of the suspected Berlin truck attacker, one day after he was killed in a shootout Friday with Italian police in Milan. As most of the country was preparing Saturday to celebrate Christmas Eve, German authorities said hundreds of investigators will be working on the probe throughout the holiday season. Christians from around the world have gathered in the West Bank in Bethlehem to celebrate Christmas. Robert Berger was among those who gathered at Manger Square for the celebration.
Palestinian Boy and Girl Scouts kicked off Christmas Eve celebrations here in Bethlehem with a festive march through Manger Square. It was a mixture of nationalism and religion. The marchers carried Palestinian flags as they passed a giant Christmas tree in front of the ancient Church of the Nativity. Pilgrims from around the world watched the festivities and also spent some solemn prayer time at the Grotto of the Nativity, where tradition says Jesus was born. Robert Berger for VOA News, Bethlehem.
For more on these stories and the rest of the day's news, log on to our website, voanews.com. This is VOA News. Israel's prime minister has lashed out at U.S. President Barack Obama on Saturday, accusing him of a shameful move at the United Nations over West Bank settlements. Benjamin Netanyahu said that Israel rejected the resolution that got the green light after the United States abstained in the Security Council vote. He said the decision taken at the UN yesterday was part of the swan song of the old world biased against Israel. We are entering a new era, and as the U.S. President-elect Donald Trump said yesterday, this is going to happen much quicker than people think. Although the U.S. opposes the settlements, it has traditionally used its veto power as a permanent member of the Security Council to block similar resolutions. The first Christmas Mass in 2 years took place on Saturday in Bartella, northern Iraq, after the area was liberated from Islamic State group fighters. Bishop Musa Semali said, however, that the celebrations were bittersweet.
Today we're experiencing a mixture of sadness and happiness. We had hoped that life would be back to normal, but Islamic State destroyed many holy places that brought together the children of this nation.
Bartella was home to thousands of Assyrian Christians, but most fled in 2014 when the militants overran huge sections of Iraq. Christians in the town were given the choice of converting to Islam, paying a heavy tax, or facing execution. President Barack Obama and his family are spending the Christmas holidays in Hawaii. In his final Christmas message in the White House, the president urged Americans to take the spirit of Christmas throughout the new year.
Tomorrow, for the final time as the first family, we will join our fellow Christians around the world to rejoice in the birth of our Savior. And as we retell his story from that holy night, we'll also remember his eternal message, one of boundless love, compassion, and hope.
The President and First Lady Michelle Obama urged Americans to support the nation's military and their families, who are often separated at Christmas. Mr. Obama also used the message to highlight some of his achievements as president, including leading the country out of recession, lowering the unemployment rate, and providing health insurance for millions of Americans. Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari says the Islamist group Boko Haram has been driven from one of its last camps in the Sambisa forest. Boko Haram had stepped up its attacks recently after a month-long pause in its 7-year uprising that has killed more than 20,000 people. For more, log on to our website, voanews.com. I'm David Byrd in Washington.
That's the latest world news from VOA.